Hi guys, I'm live. How exciting! Why does it look so dark? Why is my hair so frizzy? And all those things that are of no interest to anybody else apart from me, obviously. So, hey, great to see you there. I know I said I was coming on at 10 a.m., 10 a.m. UK time. I'm obviously slightly late. Sorry about that, guys. If you were waiting, if you're there, come through. It's so nice to see you. Our theme is September. Fresh start, new beginnings. Woohoo! Because September is like the new year, right? It's so much better. Sorry, I'm just fiddling with my hair, fiddling with my screen. Nobody should be doing that when they're live, but who cares, right? So all during the week, I've been going live every day at 10 a.m. UK over on my Facebook page. And I thought I'd come on here today to connect with y'all and just wrap up some of the things I've been talking about in terms of creating a breakthrough in your life, in your business. Good Lord, we all need a fresh start. We all need a feeling of taking back the reins of control, quite frankly, when for the past 18 months, life has been somewhat on hold. You know, we've been told constantly what's possible, what isn't possible, maybe then, maybe now, all that indecision, all that uncertainty. So now is the time to get into the driving seat again, take back control. So I want to talk about 3 ways to create a bigger vision. Bigger vision, because look, did you want to create like something better and bigger than before? Absolutely. Who wants like the old normal? Let's go for a really good new normal. Got to be careful of my language here. These words are so in the parlance. And don't want any confusion about what I mean. I mean, you creating, you designing, you determining what your new normal is going to be. So, hey, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, let's take a beautiful breath in. Beautiful breath in. Beautiful breath out. And letting go. Isn't that nice? Wow. Letting go of everything that's been going on for you today and everything up until this moment. And let's just do that one more time. Beautiful breath in. Beautiful breath out. Letting go. Everything that's been going on for you today up until now. So before we get going, if you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like, hit the share, all that good stuff. And then you get to hear when we're going live. And I would love to build this community up for us all here. So let's do that. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching wherever you are at whatever time it is for you at whatever stage. So how do you create a bigger vision for your life? First of all, it starts with permission. Starts with permission. It starts with you giving yourself permission to design a bigger vision for your life. So you get to challenge the paradigm. We're going with the P's today, You get to notice, you get to be aware, and you get to question. Challenge is quite a strong word, isn't it? But maybe you get to challenge the paradigm that you have been living in. So the paradigm is the perspective in which you view the world, okay? It's the blinkers that everybody is walking around with, myself included. So we get to notice those blinkers, notice that paradigm, and question how we may want to expand our horizons of what's possible in order to create, attract, build something bigger than we already have. Because I'm just going to assume that you're like me, you're a person of growth. You like to grow. You're committed to growth because you know there's no standing still. There's only decay or growth. So, permission, paradigm. What's the next P? The next P would be, in terms of creating your vision, possibility. When you want to create a bigger result, when you want to have a bigger vision, you have to live in the realm of possibility. because it may be, may be that you're wanting to create a bigger result than your current reality might suggest, might allow for. This is really important. You get to live in the realm of possibility. Now, when you're living in the realm of possibility, I would caution you about sharing that with other people, because if you are contemplating a bigger result than your current reality might suggest is possible, then other people may well, from a rational, perfectly reasonable, perfectly logical place, tell you how insane you are, how irrational you're being, how impossible that is. So the best thing for you to do is to keep stump and live in the realm of possibility. Now, look, if you are in a mastermind, I'm a great believer in a mastermind. If you're in a mastermind, which is a small group of like-minded people dedicated to growth, possibly led by a coach, maybe not. But if you're in a mastermind, close-knit group of like-minded people committed to growth, who also follow these principles and also live in the realm of possibility, then yeah, for sure, absolutely, you can share that. But if not, then don't. Now, I've talked before about how I truly only share with you what I know works. I only share with you what I know works. So I've obviously applied this principle of creating bigger results in my life than my current reality would suggest. I've spoken about it on other lives and videos. I've got to tell you that every big, like really big result I've ever created in my life that's ever come my way, whether it's this house I live in today, or whether it's the first property I bought just over 20 years ago, those results came about from me envisioning the possibility. Now, look, I'm a very practical person. I work, I do things. I've a busy coaching practice, a busy coaching business. So please don't think that I'm talking about sitting on a sofa and just meditating for months on end and not taking action. But at the same time, the big exponential results I've ever had in my life have come through what I've just shared with you. Permission, paradigm, possibility, living in possibility. Okay, so next thing I want to say, because I want to put all of this in here, and then if we've got time, I'm going to be here for half an hour. If we've got time, I'll come into a little bit more detail. So the next thing, step, strategy you got to have to create that bigger vision is you got to connect to your deeper motivation. You've got to have a deeper motivation. So you got to connect to that. Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich, he talked about having a burning desire. That's true. That's true. But here's the thing. You can have a burning desire, and you need to keep that fueled, because a burning desire will get you out of the starting blocks, right? It'll get you fired up. It'll get you ready to go. It'll get you into action. And you need to be able to have a constant supply of fuel. Making sense, guys? Where do you get that constant supply of fuel? How do you generate it? How do you generate it? From within, because you have to generate it from within. You generate it from within by being connected to your deeper why. Now, here's the thing. When I say that, most people assume that I'm talking about the difference that you want to make in the world. Lord knows there's plenty of scope for us all to make a contribution and make a difference in the world. That's great. Terrific. Absolutely 100%. Have that, keep it, hold it. Brilliant. However, I would encourage you to also connect to your own personal why, your own personal, deeper motivation. Frequently, I see, altruistic, well meaning people forget to do that, or possibly think that's slightly selfish, right? Honestly, it's not. It's not. Because here's what could happen if you aren't connected to your deeper why. You could fall into making money without even consciously doing it. You could fall into having money be your motivation. Now, if money truly isn't that big motivator for you, that will cause a problem. That will mean you're not motivated to do all that stuff that otherwise you would be doing in life and in your business, right? Because that money motivation isn't really your deep motivation, right? So that could happen. You're just not taking action. You just don't feel it, right? And the second thing that could happen is once you make enough money, whatever you've decided that is, then you run out of steam. You run out of steam. And you sit down on the sofa and you think, oh gosh, what am I going to do now? That might sound really strange, but it actually did happen to me. I got to a point where I'd made enough money. I had fulfilled big needs, right? Because when there's a really big need for me to generate money, I can do it. I can pull it out of the bag. I can get into action. I can work. I have a lot of energy. I can make things happen, right? So what happened was I had this great burning desire. I had this great sense of urgency that I lived with for many years. And it was because I was committed to giving my son the best start in life. I was solely responsible for generating income. And I also supported my mum as well. So I was so committed to giving her the best life possible. So I had this terrific motivation. And I made plenty of money. My son went to a particular school, not because I wanted him to go to a fancy school, but because it was a great school for dyslexia, dyspraxia, very small classes, all that stuff. It just happened to be quite expensive. So it was £7,200 every 12 weeks. And when I made that commitment, I honestly did not have that money lying around for years on end, years to come, but I just made a commitment. I remember my son on his first day when he went for the trial day and he said, oh my gosh, I really love this school, Mum, but can you afford it? I said, don't worry about that. Of course I can afford it. You just get yourself in there, be nice. Let's just handle that. So then what happened? I fulfilled that. I'm laboring this point because it's quite a subtle thing. Because money is supposed to be the big motivator for all of us. And to an extent, it is. Obviously, we need to pay bills, keep a roof over our heads, and we have commitments and all of that stuff. But what happened then was when Jamie had finished the school and that great big commitment was over, I just ran out of steam. I ran out of steam. And I sat down. I did very little for about 3 years until a sense of urgency kicked in. The bank was calling me and saying, hello, you haven't made a payment on your mortgage for a while. You thinking about it? And I had to start to think about it. I know this might sound crazy, but I'm just being really honest with you. And what I saw was that money was not my big motivator. Money was not my deeper motivator. It was a shock to me in a way, because I thought it was. But once the urgency and the big need had gone, right? And then what I did in a way was I ran out of money and then I got my mojo back. I got that need to make money again. So I got into action and made things happen. So money may not be the best motivator in the world. I actually don't think it is. And if you're not a money-driven person in the way that I'm actually not, you need to connect to your deeper why in order to get into gear. Now, why should you get into gear? Why is that important? Why is it important to be like, making things happen in your life? Here's why. Because it brings out the best of you. It gets you into action. It makes life more interesting. It makes you feel more alive. It lets you feel more alive. It brings out the best in you. It gets you using your talents. Remember, we're all, rough diamonds. We get to polish ourselves. We came into this life with God-given talents, skills and abilities in a unique little combo, in a little bag, little gift bag. And what we're here to do is to grow and to take those talents, put them out into the world for our good, the good of all. Otherwise, to be honest, life is quite dull. And one may have no sense of real direction and purpose. So it's good to be clear what that deeper motivation is, right? How do you get to it? Here's how you get to it. First of all, you give yourself permission. You give yourself permission to have a personal why, not just a public help the world why, but a personal why. So I invite you to identify a result that you'd like to create in your life. Whether it's a breakthrough for September or just a major change that you want to create in your life. And it can be financial. It can be financial. And now what I invite you to ask yourself is why? Why would you want that? Just write it down. Believe me, the answer is there. It's just under your skin. This is also a brilliant way to get to know yourself better, really, to deepen your relationship with yourself. And then when you get that written down, guess what you do next? You ask yourself that question. Why? Why do I want that? Now you keep going with this process 7 times, at least. And if you need to ask more, if you need to go deeper, then you do that. You might need to go 10 times. It's a really interesting exercise, this. And you get to see the deeper reasons for creating this breakthrough, this transformation. Is this making sense? By the way, I'm going to come back and read any comments. So any questions you have, any comments you have, and I'm going to be here every Saturday morning live UK time. I'm going to post stuff during the week as well. Let me just have some aloe vera juice. Good for the stomach. Now, so we've done vision, we've done motivation. Now let's look at something really interesting. Hey, how are you? So nice to see you there. So nice to see you joining live. And feel free to stick a question in there. Anything about creating a breakthrough, anything about creating a bigger result than your current reality might suggest. Let's look at calling. What do I mean by calling? I mean that deeper desire to be you in the world. Deeper desire to be you in the world. By the way, let me just say something. Everything I'm sharing here is internal. It's internal. So we're talking about creating this breakthrough. I'm not giving you practical strategies. I'm going to do that next week, by the way. Practical strategies for generating more income, attracting more clients, all of that great stuff. But here's the thing. The reason I'm doing this internal stuff, lovely to see you there. Great to see you. The reason I'm talking about this internal stuff is that if you want growth, if you want a difference in the external world, guess where it starts? It doesn't start out there. Doesn't start out there. It starts inside. It starts inside. All transformation, I've heard someone say, and I really believe in this, is like 90% internal. I really believe that. I really believe that. It's like if you want to have good skin, the internal, it's all internal. You got to drink your aloe vera juice. It's not just the makeup. So that's why I'm focusing on your internal environment. If you want to shift, if you want to change, if you want growth, if you want advancement, and that's all great stuff. On the external, in the external world, you get to create a shift in your internal environment first of all. That's why I am talking about your internal environment. It's more than mindset, believe me. So this deeper internal stuff, this is where to start. Because think about it. If you don't feel ready for that result, if you don't feel good enough to go out there and claim this, that, and the other, is it likely to happen? It's not likely to happen. It's not likely to happen. You'll meet with struggle and you'll meet with resistance. And that's just not good for you. It's not good for your confidence. I don't want that. You don't want it. So that's why vision, motivation, and now this third area that I'm calling is so important. Calling. That feeling that you feel you have a personal calling to contribute something specific to the world through your being, through who you are. I grew up with nuns. I was educated by nuns from the age of 4 to 18. And that's why I know about calling. That's where I first heard about calling, because these lovely nuns, Sisters of Mercy nuns, would talk about their calling. They would talk about how they had received a calling, heard a calling, had a calling to join the convent, to become a nun. So us girls were fascinated with this notion of calling. And we used to ask the nuns, so sister, when did you hear the calling? I mean, how did you know that you had it? Like, was it a voice? Like, was it a dream? Was it a vision? So we were fascinated with this notion of calling. And I remember sitting in the chapel one day in school just thinking, gosh, could that be me? Maybe I'll get the calling and I'll be joining this convent. Who knows? But I loved it. Clearly that didn't happen. But I loved the idea of feeling that you had something special to do in life. And that doesn't mean, by the way, that you have to be, on the world stage, that you have to join a convent, or you have to be a member of parliament or something like, showy in public. It doesn't mean that. Here's what it means. It means that you are connected to your deeper truth, to really what you're here to contribute. Here's what, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to show you 3 simple ways to do that in a moment. But let me tell you why that's important. It's important because it deepens your relationship to yourself. Why is that important? That's important because you get to feel a deep sense of credibility. A deep sense of credibility about what you do. About what you do. You're going to feel a deep sense of congruency about what you do. You know that lovely phrase that we have when we talk about someone, we say, you really know where you are with them. They're really straight. There's no sides. It's that sort of authenticity. You'll also like yourself because you'll just feel that you know yourself and that there's a thread running through you that you're expressing in life. There's a theme, there's a thread that's been there all along, right? So it's just going to make your life so much better. Believe me, it'll make your life flow. You will absolutely make more money, because that success on the outside starts with you giving yourself permission to have that success from within. All this stuff I'm telling you about, speaking about, this internal stuff, it leads to success on the outside. I believe you actually probably cannot have the success, will not have the success you could have on the outside if you're not aligned from the inside out. Okay? So how do you find your calling? First of all, your calling is within you. You're not sudden. I'm not going to give it to you right here. I don't have that power. And I don't need to do that, because you have it within you already. That's the good news. It's been there all along. I am just reminding you. I am just enabling you to connect even stronger to what you are connected to, right? Making sense? So here's 3 ways to, by the way, lovely to see you there. Lovely to see you there. I'm just going to see who's there live today. Thank you for showing up. Camille, I love that name. That's so nice. And I love all your lovely comments. Now, that lovely person, I'm just going to assume it's a woman, but I don't know your first name. Tell me what your first name is, because it's DRed05N, so I can't really call you that. So are you Danielle? Are you Deirdre? Tell me what your name is. Anyway, lovely to see you there. So where do you look for your calling? You look, first of all, in your past. Now, what I mean is, where do you look for the signs of your calling? You look to your past, you look to your present, and you look to your future. Now, let's look at the past. You look at what you were doing when you were, I'm looking out the window because there's this darling cat I absolutely adore called Winston, who's just come to visit me. What is he? Mancoon. He's a Mancoon. I'll put a picture of him on here later. He is unbelievably gorgeous, and he's huge. Apparently that type of cat is closer to a cougar than a cat. But anyway, I digress, but I'm just crazy about Winston. I have to go and see him later. Right, you look to your past. You look at the threads. You look at the signs. You look at what you were interested in. You look at what you were doing when you were 7. When you were 7. When you were 9. When you were 11. When you were 13. The signs were there. What were you interested in? What were you fascinated by? What were you doing? What were you doing? There is your first sign, right? So I don't want to talk so much about me. I want to hear about you. I'm going to come to present and future in a moment. Don't let me forget, for goodness sakes. But for example, if you'd asked me when I was that age what I wanted to be when I grew up, what do you want to be when you grow up, Fiona? I always had the same answer. I always said, singer, actor, or dancer. Singer, actor, or dancer. Now, you're probably thinking, yes, Fiona, but you weren't a singer, actor, or dancer right now. That's true. But if you think about what singer, actor, dancer is all about, it's about communicating. It's about connecting with people, right? And that's what I love to do. Communicating is my big thing. It's my big thing, whether it's writing or whether it's speaking. I love to do this. Honestly, it makes me so happy to do this stuff. It makes me feel more alive. It makes me feel like I'm in my element. Some people would hate to do this, by the way. It's not their thing, right? But I love it. I love it. So I'm making that point because it's going to be the same for you. Let's look at your present now. It's going to be the things that come naturally to you, the things that come more easily to you. That's more of a sign as well, right? Because they're things that you do easily. Now, here's the thing. You might not value those things. You may not be paying attention to those things because they come so easily to you, right? So look at those things and also notice the connection to your past. I want you to draw the connection to your past, right? So, I remember when I was about 11 standing on a path in Northern Ireland. And I remember, it was a time I grew up in the worst of the Troubles in the 1970s. People were like literally killing themselves left, right, and center. It was like a crazy time. And I remember standing on this path, and we had just a few weeks before that, we'd been forced out of our home. It happened, believe me. We weren't the only ones. It happened to a lot of people. We were Catholics. We were just in the wrong area. It just happened. Anyways, so we moved into this house, and it was in this estate, and just felt so cramped. I just stood and I just looked around, and it felt like the houses were closing in on me. And I just thought, gosh, this place is so small. It's so small. And I just made a decision then, and I just really felt that in my life, I would live in a bigger place. I would live a bigger life than I could live if I stayed in this small place. So I'm sharing that with you because I made a decision in that moment, and I made a plan in that moment. And I got my dad on board as my first coach, and I said, here's my plan. And he worked with me to make that plan happen so that I could live that bigger life and move away and do all these things I wanted to do. I'm sharing that with you because it's going to be the same for you. Look at what I was doing at that point. I was declaring an intention. I was making a plan. I was getting a coach, quite frankly, at 11, right? So, hello, no coincidence to what I do now. It's the same for you. It's the same for you. My calling is about living without restrictions. Funny, isn't it, given the time that we're living in? My calling is about no limits. My calling is about inciting you to let go of self-imposed limits, to go for that bigger life, just really at a simple level. That's really what I'm about. Whether it's that bigger business, whether it's getting on that bigger stage in life, whatever that means for you, whatever that growth expansion is for you, no limits. I came from a small place. I declared I would live a bigger life. So, calling. Past. I would so love to hear, by the way, what you're remembering about your past. 7, 9, 11. So, past, present. I'm coming to future in a second, but those of you who are here live, I'd so love, and I'll look on the thread later as well. Oh, what a beautiful name. Oh, and I want to say your name properly, and I really hope that I can. Is it, what a great name. Is it Redone? Is it Redone? That's an amazing name. Of course, I know you from LinkedIn. Okay, we must speak. Hi, Andrea. Lovely to see you there. So lovely to see you there. And listen, we must speak, Redone. And thank you so much for all that connection that you've been doing on LinkedIn with me. So listen, here's my email. Email me and we'll arrange a time to speak. Fiona@fionaharold.com. It's that simple. And Harold is HAROLD. So yeah, email me. So now where was I? Past, present, future. So connecting to your calling, it allows you to carve out that bigger future. You get to connect more deeply to that calling, and you get to say to yourself, and so. And you look at what that bigger expression of you could look like. Because here's the beautiful thing that happens when you connect more deeply to your calling, and when you allow yourself to be moved and motivated from that deeper place, then more things feel possible to you. You don't feel so insecure. You don't feel so intimidated. because it's not your ego that's running the show. It's not your ego that's running your show. Your ego is all about fame and fortune. It's like a combination of feeling inferior and superior. And I know that because I lived like that for years. Truly, I did. I did. Comes from a place of fear, comes from a place of insecurity, you know? And it's a hard place to live in that way. It's a really hard place to live. Creates a lot of tension. You feel competitive. And really, it's coming from a place of fear. So it's not a great place to be motivated from. A much better place to be motivated from is that deeper feeling of calling. Deeper feeling of calling. Because here's the thing, what it feels like is it's your destiny. It's your destiny unfolding. You are participating in the unfolding of your destiny. And when you operate from that place, you get into more of a flow in life because you're truly aligned to your natural talents. You're truly aligned to your deeper calling you. That's a nice phrase. You're to a deeper calling you. Yeah, you are. Your motivation is from a higher place. People can feel the difference because you're not going out there in the world with that, what's in it for me? How can I get stuff from you? Right? Which is often the case and we can do that without even noticing it, by the way. I definitely did that for years too. What's in this for me? How can I get things from that person to advance me? So when you do that, you meet with resistance. Now, you can still make things happen. You absolutely can. It takes a lot more energy. It takes a lot more energy because you meet with resistance because people can feel that. Self-absorption, right? So when you're clear of that, by the way, it's quite a relief to be clear of that. And we all get to be vigilant, you know, to make sure that we're clear of that. But when you're coming from that higher place of calling, connected to that deeper part of you, it's a great feeling. And you feel more comfortable with yourself. You feel more confident. You feel more credible. And you go out there with a bigger appetite to participate fully in life. I love all that. I really do. This is your internal environment that we're looking at here. We're looking at making sure it's fertile for your growth in life. We're taking care of the internal. We're planting good quality seeds, great fertilizer, nourishing, clearing out any weeds, clearing out any rubbish that could slow down your growth, your unfoldment in the world, right? Now tell me if this is making sense. I'm going to stop in a second. I'm going to go out for my run. It's a beautiful day in Somerset. I hope it's gorgeous where you are. We have sun shining. It's amazing. So great to see you. And absolutely, I will be reaching out to you. What else do I want to say? I'll be on Facebook Live next week, every day from 10 o'clock. Going to do more practical stuff next week in terms of your September breakthrough. I've got some great, exciting stuff I've just decided to do towards the end of September. I'm going to do a challenge. I'm going to do a 5-day challenge. I'm going to do an End Imposter Syndrome Forever challenge. Do you like the sound of that? I'm so excited about that because it's time for us all to play our part fully in the world. Fully in the world. Don't you think the world needs more of you? Oh boy, absolutely. With all these crazy times that we're going through. So absolutely, we all get to play our part and make life work for ourselves and others. So my darlings, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for being here. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you during the week, and I'll be speaking to you, some of you very soon for sure. So have an absolutely wonderful day wherever you are. Sending you all my love, and let me know. I want to hear about your calling. I really do. From everything that I have said on this video today, that's the thing that I want you to take away. That's the most important thing. Look at what you were doing at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I'd love to hear your ahas. I'd love to hear what you've seen. So put it on the thread, even if it takes you even if it comes to you in an hour's time or later or whenever, put it here and I will see it. All right, darlings, have a great day. Lots of love to you. Bye.